Here's a quick video on how to make a Hotwire foam cutter and some tools using inexpensive materials. So to start off with, if you're going to do Hotwire foam cutting, you need to get yourself a carbon or charcoal activated respirator. A dust mask is not good enough. You got to filter out those chemicals that the hot wire gives off, and they will go directly to your face every time. All right, so to start off with, I have the bows here. I have 3 different sizes. I have my small, my medium, and my large. You can see on the large one I put little corks at the ends, but I found those aren't necessary. Also, I really wouldn't make a bow over 28 or 30 inches. I have pretty bad luck cutting anything wider than 24 inches. The wire tends to wobble through the foam if it gets really any longer. So you can see they're just made out of scrap wood. I put a screw in it on both sides. And then what I recommend is that you glue one side so that it doesn't wobble on you. The other thing that's really important is you have to have a spring because as the wire gets hot, it's going to expand. And so your tension is going to change. So you definitely want to get the spring. So I just got a variety spring from Home Depot. And then the other thing is that there's a couple of other tools here. I have a little like jigsaw bandsaw. Again, it has the spring and then it has the screw on top so I can adjust it left and right, up, forward and backwards so that the wire is perfectly perpendicular to the table. And then I have a couple of T-squares that get clamped to the edge of my table so that I can size my blocks. And that's where I use the big saw or the big bow is to cut the big blocks down into smaller pieces to the plan form of my wing or my tail or whatever it is that I'm cutting. All right, so then let's talk a little bit about wire. So what I use is stainless steel safety wire back from my motorcycle days. So I find that the stainless steel wire, it's strong, it maintains its strength when it gets hot. And it does stretch, but it doesn't stretch that much. Now, I've heard people use guitar strings, fishing wire, monostrand, welding wire. I actually use welding wire to make special shapes and tape it to a chopstick. And I use that. And then nichrome wire is also fairly popular, but I've tried that once or twice in the distant past, and the wire is pretty thick and it tends to stretch a lot more, so you lose that tension. Now, that's not to say you can't get it to work. I have a friend that just cut a 7-foot piece of foam for a wing, one solid piece, using nichrome wire and a massive bow. So, give it a try. You might have better luck than me. So let's talk about the power supply. This is kind of the key point, and this is where I think I really kind of figured out how to make a cheap one. So here you can see this is just a laptop power supply. I got it from Goodwill for a total of $6. So this particular one is something like 19 volts and 9 amps, which is absolute overkill. Far more power than you need. But if you're going to go to Goodwill and you're going to look at these power supplies, take a magnifying glass. The print is really, really small, and most often it's gray text on a black background. So you want to look for something that's got to be, 5 amps and, somewhere around 10 volts should do. But like I said, this one works great, but it definitely supplies more power than I need. So then that is wired into this LED dimmer that I got off of Amazon. So it's just a DC LED light dimmer, and it has an on-off switch here. And you can see I wired the output, DC output from the laptop charger into the input. And then I have an old extension cord that I just cut the ends off and I wired that in to the output side. And then of course you have the rheostat, which I've never gotten past 1/4 with the power setup I have. And then I soldered a couple of alligator clips to the wire on the other end. And so I just clipped the alligator clips to the bow, to the part that I want to heat. I don't use the entire thing the entire time, and I certainly don't put it on the outside. So I only want to put the alligator clips where I want to actually heat it. And it works great. So again, you've got to get yourself one of these respirators, charcoal activated, from a name brand. I'm a big fan of 3M. And I've had this thing for years. It works great. I just replaced the cartridges and give it a try. So leave me any comments or any suggestions, or share your experience. Great. Good luck. Thanks.